The vast hall of the stellar conclave was steeped in dread. Envoy Kaorix felt it pressing in from every direction, heavy as gravity itself. 47 civilizations stood gathered beneath the towering vaults, their greatest minds united by a single truth none of them wished to speak aloud. They were losing. At the heart of the chamber, a colossal hologram of the galaxy burned in cold light. Nearly a quarter of its stars glowed crimson. Each mark represented a system consumed by the Karax dominion. Entire civilizations erased in weeks, billions reduced to ash, chains, or silence. "They have taken the Lyran sector," Elder Arvoth said, his ancient voice trembling. 11 billion lives ended in a single rotation. No one answered. There were no words left. The Karax did not negotiate. They conquered, enslaved, and stripped worlds bare. 3 days earlier, their High Conqueror had delivered his ultimatum. 1 galactic cycle to submit, 1 cycle to surrender everything. "Our fleets are insufficient," admitted Fleet Marshal Turvan. 700 warships against their 3,000. This is not strategy, it is arithmetic. "Then we seek terms," another envoy said weakly. "They do not want tribute," Arvoth replied. "They want bodies." Silence returned, deeper than before. Then a quiet voice spoke from the rear of the chamber. "There is another possibility." All heads turned. A junior envoy stepped forward, her scales shimmering blue. Her name was Aralees, barely 2 centuries old. "We could reach out," she said carefully, "to the humans." The chamber recoiled as if struck. "Absolutely not," Kaorix snapped. "The isolation decree exists for a reason." "What reason?" demanded a younger delegate. "We whisper about Soli's reach, but no one explains." Elder Arvoth closed his eyes. 300 years ago, he began, we discovered a death world at the edge of known space, crushing gravity, toxic atmosphere, lethal radiation, and yet life flourished. The hologram shifted to a small blue-green planet. "Terra," he said. "Earth." Images flooded the chamber, humans waging endless wars, forging weapons capable of destroying their own world, hunting creatures larger than themselves for challenge alone. Thriving in deserts, ice, poison jungles. Enduring pain that would cripple any other species. "They are not merely predators," Arvoth said softly. "They are survivors shaped by a hostile world. They do not yield. They do not stop." Another envoy stepped forward, voice tight. 2 centuries ago, a human colony ship was attacked by raiders. Farmers, families, children aboard, the raiders demanded surrender. The chamber listened, frozen. The humans refused. They fought with mining tools and improvised weapons. The raiders fled, a pause. But the humans pursued them across 3 systems for 6 months. When they caught them, they did not imprison them. They annihilated every ship, executed every raider, and left the captain's head drifting in orbit as a warning. Terror swept the hall. "Those were civilians," someone whispered. "Yes," the envoy replied. "Now imagine their soldiers." The vote was swift. Not a single voice chose to break Earth's quarantine. The council dispersed, knowing the truth they refused to face. There would be no salvation. Within days, the Karax invasion came in full. Systems burned. Fleets shattered. Refugees fled into darkness. Ancient archives were reduced to dust. Half the galaxy vanished in fire. Ambassador Kethrin stopped sleeping. He watched feeds of cities dying, of children dragged into chains. The end was unfolding, and there was nothing left to stop it. Far from the front lines, a single Karax scout fled through hyperspace, engines screaming. Lieutenant Valex stood on the shattered bridge as systems failed one by one. "Navigation is dead," his officer reported. "We're blind." "Pick a heading," Valex snapped. "Anywhere." They tore back into real space and froze. Thousands of satellites encircled a calm yellow star, all broadcasting the same signal, quarantine zone. "Do not approach." At the center of the system, a blue world turned peacefully. "Terra," someone whispered. The ship convulsed. Power collapsed. Valex triggered the emergency beacon as darkness claimed him. On Earth, Fleet Marshal Mara Holloway was lifting her morning mug when the alert chimed. "Unknown alien vessel detected," her aide said. "Crash-landed near the quarantine boundary." Holloway's expression hardened. "Recover it." The survivor was Valex, broken, terrified. "You're human," he whispered when he woke. "The monsters of Terra." We prefer humans, Holloway replied calmly. Now tell me why you're here. Too weak to lie, he told her everything. The war, the enslavement, the billions dead. When he finished, she asked one question. Why did your people attack the council? Because we are strong, Valex said, and they are not. Holloway nodded once and left the room. She placed a call. Within hours, the galaxy knew Earth was no longer blind. The Karax laughed when they heard. Humans, their warlord sneered. Send 15 ships, take prisoners. When the strike force arrived, they found a human admiral waiting. You have 30 seconds to withdraw, she said calmly. They laughed. Then the humans attacked. Dense metal projectiles tore through shields that should have been impenetrable. Ships vanished in heartbeats. Human vessels charged forward despite burning hulls, despite venting air. One rammed a cruiser head-on, detonating both. The battle lasted 17 minutes. 13 Karax ships were destroyed. 2 escaped. The survivors spoke of humans who smiled as they died, who fought on with shattered bodies, who boarded ships with blades and bare hands. They are not soldiers, one whispered. They are hunters. On Earth, Fleet Marshal Alara Voss watched footage of enslaved children and burning cities. Summon the United Earth Assembly, she said. We're entering the war. The vote was unanimous. 300 human warships departed Sol, carrying 50,000 soldiers and 3 centuries of silence. The Galactic Council trembled as they approached. They are not coming to save us, one elder said quietly. They are coming because they found a war. A diplomat was sent to beg them to withdraw. The human commander listened patiently. We fear you, the envoy admitted. We know what you are capable of. You're right, the commander said. We are dangerous. Then why fight? The commander's voice softened. Because we saw children in cages, and we don't ignore that. She leaned forward. If we are as frightening as you believe, imagine what we'll do to those who hurt the helpless. The envoy had no answer. The final battle came at Primehold, the Karax fortress world. 3,000 warships waited. 2 million soldiers stood ready. The humans charged anyway. Outnumbered 10-1, they fractured the enemy formation, sacrificing ships to carve openings. They pressed forward without retreat, paying for every gain in blood. 6 hours later, only 80 human ships remained, but the Karax fleet was gone. Boarding pods slammed into the flagship. Marines fought deck by deck, dying by the thousands. At last, a wounded human commander stood before the warlord. Surrender, she said. Trial or death? He dropped his blade. The broadcast echoed across the stars. The war was over. Slaves were freed. Fleets stood down. Humanity did not claim a single world. 6 months later, the humans withdrew. We did not come to rule, their marshal told the council. We came because someone was screaming for help, and when the Kree are gone, we will leave. They did. The quarantine was lifted. Earth was welcomed into the galactic community, an elder rose, voice full of awe. A people who fight like nightmares, he said, yet choose restraint. Perhaps fear and hope wear the same face. As the human fleet vanished into the dark, one truth remained. The galaxy would never forget what humanity had done, and humanity would never stop watching. Some would call it a warning, others a vow. It was both.